Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't seen me before, my name is Kim and I'm the Travelling Surrogate. I'm a traditional surrogate in the UK, carrying a baby for someone who can't have kids. This week is my 36-week update. I'm 9 months pregnant! So for those of you who don't know, pregnancy is actually 10 months. So the first 4 gestational weeks kind of don't really count because they count it from the first day of your last period. Then it's 2 weeks until you ovulate, and then it's 2 weeks until you actually find out you're pregnant. But yes, I'm now 36 weeks, so we are almost cooked. The baby will be considered full term next week, so really not much longer left. I feel like I've got tons to say this week. I just feel really chatty and it's been a really eventful week, so I'm sorry if this video goes a bit rambly and off on all kinds of tangents. Came down for the 36-week midwife appointment, which was on Monday. She came down Sunday night, crashed on my sofa, and it was really lovely just seeing her, having a catch up. She was feeling her baby kick. We had a really special moment where I had some piano music on in the background because it tends to wake the baby up. She had her hand on this side because that's where I could feel him moving, and I was laying on my left and I could feel him kicking this side. So she put both her hands on my belly, and without thinking I said, "Oh, you're holding your baby," which obviously just made her burst into tears. We then did my 36-week exercise video together, and yeah, I think she was surprised actually at not the difficulty, but yeah, how well it sort of opened her body up. So I'm really glad that I've been continuing to do exercise throughout this pregnancy. Then what did we do? We went for some lunch. Well, we sat in the park because obviously lockdown, everything's closed, and it rained, so that was just very typically British. And then went for the appointment, which in all honesty was the highlight of my week. It's the most social I've been able to be for a very long time because of the lockdown, pandemic, COVID, pregnancy. There were 5 of us in the room, so there was my normal midwife, a student, an experienced midwife who's coming back off of maternity leave, so she was on a keeping in touch day, and myself. So it was just this really fun, we proper had a laugh and went through everything from like different birth positions to perineal massage and feel where the baby is. They were like teaching her how to be a midwife basically. So, she got to actually visualise exactly what position he was in. At the time his back down this side, which he's been in a lot, which gets quite uncomfortable for me because then his bum sits in my ribs and all of his limbs over this side. Since then he's wiggled about and he's the other way around, but I'll come to that later. So when I got on the couch and they measured my fundal height, so the size of my uterus, it's measuring 37 centimetres, which is a good few centimetres more than it should have been for 36 weeks. It should have been 34. So my midwife referred me to the hospital for a scan, just to check if there was a monster baby going on. They did a couple of other checks as well where they would sort of tap on one side, and if they could feel a frill, that means there's excess amniotic fluid, but apparently it didn't feel like there was, I don't know. And also your bump would get noticeably massive in a short space of time, and I've still got no stretch marks, so it was unlikely to be the amniotic fluid. Personally, I wasn't worried at all because if the baby's big, that's a good thing, it means he's healthy, and they would induce early, and I honestly thought it was positional because I could feel how uncomfortable it was and what position he was in. If you imagine a baby in the fetal position, like curled up round your belly, then it'd measure smaller than he was sitting like right up like this. Yes, what else? The baby's head is engaged, 3/5 engaged, so the chances that he'll flip round and go breech now are like next to nothing, which I'm really pleased about because I want to try and avoid a cesarean, but I also wouldn't attempt a vaginal breech birth. Pushing a baby's bum out first, no, I'm good. So I'm really happy that he's head down and gonna be staying there, because yeah, in theory he could come anytime from next week. Then on Thursday was the sonographer, the ultrasound appointment, and fortunately, I'm very pleased to report, he's not a monster baby, he's perfectly average, absolutely on track. His head circumference, abdominal circumference and femur length are all literally like on the average line. So there's not a giant in my belly, thank God. It does look like he's got a bit of a pointy nose. I am a traditional surrogate, so it is my egg and the genetics will be there. So I do apologise, young man, if you've inherited this, this great asset. But yeah, the sonographer was really lovely as well. Unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to video. The NHS are really strict with filming in the scan rooms. I don't know why, but yeah, he wouldn't let me do a video call with the parents, so I just had to ring afterwards and give her the lowdown, which is really difficult when you've got baby brain, because you're like, oh, what else did we talk about? But yeah, when I first went in and got my belly out, he was like, oh, nice bump. So I was like, well, thank you very much. He started scanning low first, and interestingly, sonographers can't tell if the baby's head's engaged. He said head's down, and I said, can you tell how engaged it is? Because I was curious if it's gone down any further since Monday. And he said, no, you'll have to ask a midwife. So it's incredible that a trained pair of midwives' hands are that much more accurate than all this technology and a machine. And I think sonographers go to uni for like 3 years and stuff as well, so it's quite impressive. But yeah, he started down here, and the gel then woke the baby up, and he come up here to do the, I can't even remember what he was checking. He was checking something up here, and I said, oh sorry, the baby's fidgeting quite a lot. And the sonographer just sort of was, you know, was like, meh, because obviously women probably say that all the time. But he was really fidgeting. I think he was like curling up and arching his back because I could feel the movements both ends. And the sonographer even said like, whoa, you have got a wiggly one here. So he's in for a, for a bit of a handful, bless her. He doesn't seem to sleep, so hopefully when he's out of the womb he might calm down a little bit. But the sonographer did say quite a few times, your baby, your baby. Every single time in my head I'm correcting, going, it's not my baby. It's still not my baby. Definitely not my baby. Which, you know, when you are a surrogate, you get that so clear in your own mind from the very get-go. I'm just looking after him for 9 months. That there is, you know, there's no attachment, and it's so interesting. And I really wish I could compare it to something, but there's nothing like it in the world, you know. And I know the parents are going to be watching this. I don't want to keep your baby, not even a little bit, not even a tiny morsel. We have a huge level of trust, but it's one of those things that coming up to this stage, there must be anxiety around it. I feel him kick every day, I feel him kick every hour, but that still doesn't make me want a baby. I don't want a child. I don't think I ever will, and I'll be so happy completing that family for them and to just see them as a unit. So yes, I'm really excited for the birth, you know. I'm much more upbeat than I was last week. Last week I was totally miserable. I'm really sorry if you had to endure that video. I was trying not to moan too much, but I was sleep deprived. I don't like sleep deprivation. Yeah, fortunately my sleep is back on track. It's almost pre-pregnancy sleep. I wake up once to pee, but then I go back to bed and I'm straight back to sleep. I think because I am getting completely exhausted with carrying quite a heavy baby around now. He's nearly 3 kilos, so that's 6.5 pounds, which is normal for 36 weeks, but it's still a lot of baby. I am pretty much KOing every night. Head hits the pillow and I'm sound asleep. It's glorious. I'm in a much better mood for it. Ah yes, the other thing I just wanted to say about the baby fidgeting as well. So this week alone, he's flipped several times. So the day before the appointment, the midwife appointment, I was feeling kicks here, so I thought he had flipped. Then by the time we got to the appointment the next day, I said I thought he'd changed sides, and my midwife was like, oh damn, he's been in the same position like this whole pregnancy. It was going to be really helpful for the student to be able to, you know, feel an optimal position baby, you know. But yeah, I thought he'd flipped, but he actually hadn't. His back was along my right side with his limbs this side. And then 3 days later at the scan, is the other way around. His back is now going down my middle and his limbs are this way. So I'm feeling the kicks here again. Now, to have the baby on the left is slightly more beneficial for me, because apparently when they're on the right, the chances are they'll go back to back. The chances are higher because there's something to do with your pelvis being like clockwise or something. I don't really understand that, but yeah, they'll take the long route round rather than having their spine to the front of your belly, which then causes more pain in labour and can make the labour last for longer. So I'm trying to use gravity, get gravity on my side and sleep on my left, which unbelievably, it worked last night. I fell asleep on my left, but then at 4 o'clock in the morning I woke up on my right, went for a wee, and the baby's bum was 100% under my ribs. It's so uncomfortable. I was like, oh, for goodness sake, he's flipped over again. He was kicking me here. So I then slept on my left for the next 5 hours. I'm gonna have to train myself to just stay on my left. And yeah, I woke up this morning and his back is definitely here again. I can feel his little bum bulging out here, and he's kicking me in the ribs, which is fine. Kicks in the ribs are much better than bums in the ribs. So otherwise, that is about all for this week. I'm so fortunate to actually have had a really decent pregnancy. I was miserable last week. I had all the symptoms in one go and they've all seemed to have gone again. I've not got any acid reflux. I don't have any typical pregnancy complaints like swollen feet or ankles. I think the fact that I've been quite active has kind of kept that at bay. I drink a lot of water. What else? I've not got any like back pain, pelvic pain. Yeah, I just get discomfort in the ribs and that is literally it. I do get constipation. I've been suffering with that for most of the pregnancy, to be honest, so I'm kind of starting to get used to it. It's partially my own fault, it's diet related, I just need a good fruit smoothie. So as always, thank you very much for watching this update. I hope you have enjoyed. I'm really surprised and pleased at how this YouTube channel is starting to sort of take off. There's much more interest than I expected, so you know, thank you for following along this journey with me. Please do leave comments down below. I love hearing from you guys. Give the video a like, help me with the YouTube algorithm, and you know, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I will continue posting weekly updates. I guess in theory we might only have 3 left, but then I'll be doing some postnatal updates and stuff as well, so yes, please do continue following along with me. Thanks for watching, bye for now.